At 1:14 in the morning, the Mediterranean is silent, black and endless, and somewhere off the coast of Tunisia, Israeli naval vessels drift without lights, their engines humming low enough to disappear into the rhythm of the sea. On board, commandos sit shoulder to shoulder, faces calm, weapons resting across their knees, every movement measured, every breath controlled. They have rehearsed this night for weeks inside a full-scale replica of a villa thousands of miles away. They know the width of the hallway, they know the number of steps to the bedroom, they know exactly how long it should take to move from the gate to the target. And in a quiet suburb of Tunis, a man in silk pajamas sits at his desk reviewing reports from Gaza, believing that distance has finally made him safe. Within the hour, more than 70 bullets will tear through his bedroom walls. This is Operation Show of Force, the assassination of Abu Jihad, and it is one of the most daring long-distance targeted killings of the modern era. Abu Jihad, born Khalil al-Wazir, was not merely a political figure, he was the operational strategist of the Palestine Liberation Organization and the closest lieutenant of Yasser Arafat. If Arafat was the public face of Palestinian nationalism, Abu Jihad was its military architect, the organizer who believed that armed struggle must be sustained, coordinated, and relentless. Over decades, Israeli intelligence tied his name to attacks that struck buses, roads, and civilians inside Israel, including the notorious bus hijacking near the Dimona nuclear facility that left the country shaken. To many Palestinians, he was a founding revolutionary and symbol of resistance. To many Israelis, he was the mastermind of bloodshed whose continued survival projected defiance. For more than 20 years, Israel tried to eliminate him. There were car bombs in Damascus, airstrikes in Beirut, and covert plots that came close but failed. Each time he survived, his legend grew. By late 1987, the conflict entered a new phase. The first intifada erupted in Gaza and spread rapidly across the West Bank, bringing images of confrontation into living rooms around the world. Israeli leaders searched for the hidden hand behind the uprising, and intelligence assessments increasingly pointed toward Tunis, where the PLO leadership had relocated after leaving Lebanon. Whether Abu Jihad truly controlled the uprising remains debated, but inside Israel's defense establishment, perception hardened into conviction. If he was directing unrest from afar, then eliminating him might disrupt the momentum and restore deterrence. The man who approved the mission was Yitzhak Rabin, serving as defense minister at the time, a former general who believed in decisive action as a language of security. Tunisia was sovereign territory far beyond Israel's borders, and striking there would carry diplomatic risks, but Rabin concluded that the message of reach was worth the danger. Planning the operation required extraordinary coordination between Mossad and the elite commandos of Sayeret Matkal. Mossad agents entered Tunisia quietly, posing as tourists and business travelers, renting cars, photographing streets, mapping traffic patterns, and studying the villa in Sidi Bou Said, where Abu Jihad lived with his family. They counted the seconds it took for a guard to respond at the gate, noted which lights stayed on past midnight, and tracked the routines of bodyguards. In Israel, engineers built a precise replica of the villa, down to the angle of staircases and the placement of doors. Commandos rehearsed the assault repeatedly in darkness, practicing entry, target identification, and withdrawal until every movement became instinct. Overseeing the mission was Ehud Barak, then a senior military commander known for analytical precision and bold planning. He understood that failure would mean international scandal and captured soldiers deep inside hostile territory, so the margin for error was virtually non-existent. On the night of April 15, 1988, Israeli missile boats departed under heavy secrecy and crossed the Mediterranean with lights blacked out. Hours later, smaller craft detached and glided toward the Tunisian shore. Engines were cut before landfall, and the final approach was made in near silence. The commandos stepped into shallow water and moved quickly onto the beach, where Mossad operatives waited with rented civilian vehicles. Within minutes, the soldiers changed into street clothes, concealing compact rifles in bags, blending into the sleeping city as if they were ordinary visitors returning from an evening out. The drive through Tunis was deliberate and calm, no speeding, no sudden turns, passing under streetlights and past unsuspecting patrols. Before the assault could begin, they needed confirmation that Abu Jihad was inside. A phone call was placed to the villa, and Arabic-speaking intelligence officers listened carefully to the voice on the line, verifying tone and cadence. It was him. The final approval was given. Shortly after 1 a.m., vehicles rolled into position near the villa. 2 operatives approached the gate, neutralizing the guards swiftly and quietly. The gate opened, and the assault team flowed inside. The front door was breached in seconds. A bodyguard in the hallway attempted to respond, but was shot before he could fire. The commandos advanced with rehearsed precision, moving up the staircase exactly as they had practiced. Upstairs, Abu Jihad reportedly reached for a pistol as the sound of gunfire echoed through the house. The commandos entered his bedroom office in coordinated motion and opened fire in controlled bursts. More than 70 rounds were discharged at close range to ensure absolute certainty. Papers scattered across the desk, glass shattered, and the walls absorbed the violence of the encounter. His wife rushed toward the room but was restrained and left unharmed. The objective was singular. Within minutes, the target was confirmed dead. A coded message signaled mission success. The withdrawal was as swift as the assault. The team exited the villa, returned to their vehicles, and drove calmly back to the coast, obeying traffic signals to avoid drawing attention. At the shoreline, boats waited in darkness. The commandos boarded, engines engaged, and the vessels pushed back into open water. By dawn, they were already far from Tunisian territory, heading toward Israel. Tunisian authorities would later condemn the violation of sovereignty, and while Israel did not officially claim responsibility, the operation's signature left little doubt. Tactically, Operation Show of Force demonstrated extraordinary reach and coordination. It reinforced the reputation of Sayeret Matkal as one of the world's most capable special forces units and highlighted the integration of intelligence and military precision. Strategically, however, the results were more complex. The First Intifada did not end with Abu Jihad's death. The uprising continued, fueled by deep-rooted grievances and political realities that extended beyond any single leader. In some circles, his assassination elevated him to martyrdom, strengthening symbolic resistance rather than weakening it. And so the night in Tunis stands as both a display of operational mastery and a reminder of the limits of force. Israel proved it could cross seas and borders to eliminate a man in his bedroom, proving that distance offered no sanctuary. Yet the broader conflict endured, shaped by forces larger than one strategist or one mission. As the sun rose over the Mediterranean the morning after the raid, the sea looked unchanged, calm and indifferent, but the message had been delivered with unmistakable clarity. In the long shadow of this conflict, no exile is far enough, and no shoreline is beyond reach.